Hello, and thank you for taking time this weekend to join us here on KREM 2 News. I'm Cody Proctor, and this is the KREM 2 News Weekend Review. We know life gets busy, and it can be tough to keep up with all the news. So let's get you updated on some of the headlines from this past week.
Well, first responders and officials are on high defense as the National Weather Service predicts wind gusts anywhere from 25 to 40 miles per hour through Wednesday, causing high fire risk and red flag warnings. Summertime in Spokane brings the perfect storm of heat and wind, creating ideal conditions for wildfires.
Embers in a wildfire wind-driven event can travel up to a mile.
Which is why fire officials across the inland Northwest are urging community members to make smart choices and follow all burn restrictions.
90% of the fires in the state of Washington are human caused.
The Department of Natural Resources states high winds can create catastrophic wildfires stemming from small starts.
Hot enough and dry enough that you'll have some fires start. Well, if we can't address them by the time a 35-mile-an-hour wind hits them, they have the potential to turn into a catastrophic wildfire.
For Spokane County, the county's emergency management team wants community members to be ready for the unexpected.
They assume they will get a level 1 get ready evacuation alert, but they may not. If it's a fast-moving fire or a very hot fire, it may not be fast-moving, but it's very hot, they may get a level 3 leave now evacuation, and that's it. They may not get the other evacuation notices.
Spokane County also urges people to sign up for Alert Spokane to receive emergency notifications as soon as warnings are issued.
So we would like the community to know is be ready for whatever notification you get and take it seriously and act on it immediately.
With several burn restrictions in place across eastern Washington, backyard fires, campfires, burning fields, or burning yard waste are all prohibited. Burn restrictions for the city of Spokane can be found on KREM.com. Reporting in studio, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.
Right now, a Coeur d'Alene fire engineer remains in stable condition in the ICU. He suffered a single gunshot wound to the back and has a long road to recovery ahead. But his team here at Station 3 remain optimistic he'll make a return to work. Coeur d'Alene fire engineer Dave Tisdall is surrounded by family as he recovers from critical injuries suffered in last week's ambush. Meanwhile, his extended family here at Station 3 are hopeful he'll make a quick recovery.
None of this is easy, and it shouldn't be easy. This should all be hard. If we were good at this, we'd have a big problem.
During the ambush, Tisdall was attacked by gunfire. The fire department says he suffered a single gunshot wound to the back. This collapsed his left lung, damaged his clavicle, shattered several ribs, and caused spinal swelling. Right now, they say he can't move his legs, but they are hopeful this will change when swelling subsides.
It's been a really hard week. I've been back to shift. I've been back to work for one set. We worked 2 days at a time, and his presence was not being here was felt.
Captain Nate Hyder says Tisdall helped save the lives of Fire Battalion 5 the day of the shooting.
Dave was able to alert Battalion 5 to get down and get out of the line of fire, and Battalion 5 was able to start getting the radio traffic out. Dave's actions saved a lot of lives that day.
This kind of heroism came as no surprise to Tisdall's team. They say that's just who he is.
I would consider Dave my closest friend in the department. The cool part about Dave is I think there is a long, long line behind me of people that would say the exact same thing. Dave would stop what he's doing. If you were working on a project at home and needed help, he would come help.
Mentor, expert, friend. This extended family cares a great deal for Tisdall, and they eagerly await his return. Tisdall still has a ways to go to recover from these critical injuries. Meantime, donations are still being accepted to support him and his family. You can find that information on KREM.com. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Paige Bisbee's parents say she's living independently with intellectual and developmental disabilities thanks to Medicaid.
Soon after completing the school to work transition program, she was hired at a Bellevue law firm. She works 2 hours a month delivering snacks and office supplies to her co-workers who appreciate her determination.
Paige's mom says her daughter can enjoy life just as much as her brother and sister-in-law, thanks to the personal care she gets at her own home, paid by Medicaid.
Without it, her quality of life, not just her health, is jeopardized.
At a press conference, the 31-year-old's story was highlighted as a lifestyle that could be in jeopardy under President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill. His signature last Friday set off phases and cuts to Medicaid, like paying for Paige's job coach. It also triggered an immediate one-year suspension of Medicaid funds for Planned Parenthood. Those are services like preventative care, cancer screenings, and birth control. Abortion services are already excluded from Medicaid funding under federal law.
Patients at Planned Parenthood don't have other places to go to receive high-quality, non-judgmental health care that they get at our clinics.
The new federal law forces Washington Governor Bob Ferguson to juggle massive cuts with the state's tight budget. At a news conference, he announced the state will cover Planned Parenthood's funding gap for now with $11 million from the Washington State Health Care Authority.
For a short-term gap like this, what we'll be doing is going to our health care authority. They have a large budget. This is about half of 1% of their budget is the millions we would need to backfill this.
A short-term solution to a long-term problem. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal says Washingtonians will feel the ripple effect for years to come. Rural residents will have to travel further for a doctor. The Congresswoman says Democrats ought to use the disruptions as fuel for the midterms next year.
It will absolutely be one of the big things that we're talking about. It's not just about elections, it's about people's lives.
For Paige Bisbee, her mom says a minimum wage job and Social Security check can't cover basic needs.
Please help us reverse this devastating legislation that threatens us all.
Washington stands to lose $3 billion a year in Medicaid funding. That covers at least 250,000 Washingtonians, which is about the population of Tacoma. Alex McClune, King 5 News.
As we go to break, here's a check of your weekend forecast. Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Before we get back to this week's headlines, we want to remind you, you can get the latest news and weather forecast anytime you want on KREM 2 Plus. It's our streaming app you can watch on your TV, and best of all, it's free. We hope you'll check it out, but now let's get back to the Week in Review.
When it comes to grizzly bears, it's best to keep your distance.
They may seem cute, they may seem cuddly, but they are very unpredictable.
Idaho Fish and Game says it can also be deadly if the barrier between humans and bears disappears. That's exactly what they say happened in Island Park, not far from Yellowstone National Park. Late last month, Idaho Fish and Game, in cooperation with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, euthanized an adult male grizzly bear. Fish and Game says the bear became conditioned after finding food in garbage cans and breaking into vehicles storing garbage.
Any time a bear receives a food reward of any type, it's a reward, which means the bear wants more of it.
That desire, says Fish and Game's Panhandle regional spokesperson TJ Ross, ended up costing the grizzly its life. Since North Idaho's home to about 50 to 75 grizzlies, Ross says people living alongside them can take steps to prevent situations like this one. Some recommendations include locking up used barbecues, putting out the trash the morning of garbage day rather than the night before, and, surprisingly, avoid putting up bird feeders during the warmer months.
That's an attractant for bears. Birds have plenty of food options during the warmer months. If folks want to use a bird feeder, we highly encourage them to do that during the winter months when bears are hibernating.
For people out camping and hiking, Ross says be sure to never hike alone, make noise while out on the trail, and avoid bringing food into your tent.
That's ringing the dinner bell for a bear. And
Instead, use bear-proof containers or properly hang your food from a tree. In the end, remember this.
If they're recreating in North Idaho, they are in bear country.
Thank you for watching the KREM 2 News Week in Review. I'm Cody Proctor. It's been a busy week all across the Inland Northwest, so let's help catch you up on some stories you might have missed.
I'm standing here at Liberty Park where Mayor Brown addressed the community with several proposals aimed to bring in more affordable housing in Spokane.
Who's here for that goal of 22,000?
Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown says she wants 22,000 additional housing units in the city by 2046. In her press conference today, she laid out a series of proposals she says would make housing more affordable, getting the city closer to that goal. It's part of her Home Starts Here initiative. The proposals include waiving general facility charges, updating current development city code to reflect the housing market right now, and establishing a permit fee deferral program for affordable housing. She says permit fees, while important, can also create issues.
They can be a barrier when a developer is putting a project together and needing to put those funds out there before they even have their housing up and going.
Another proposal looks at expanding the use of the Housing Equity and Attainable Residence Trust Fund, or the HART Fund. That includes bringing in city council members to consult on housing development sooner and creating deadlines to help with state funding match opportunities. The mayor's plans to address housing have the support of former City of Spokane Housing and Human Services Board member Barry Barfield. He's now working for the Spokane Homeless Coalition and says many people he's helped could use more housing options.
More housing in Spokane is needed, absolutely, as is more housing in the state of Washington and in the country.
He hopes Mayor Brown's proposals become a reality and there are more places to stay in Spokane.
Housing supply makes us a stronger Spokane, and we take the all of the above approach about getting there.
Hunter McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
This morning at the Spokane Convention Center, local leaders came together to talk about the future of housing in Spokane. When cities like Spokane continue to grow, home ownership rates tend to do the same. But as panelists and guests at the State of Housing Summit pointed out, Spokane's is doing the opposite.
Our home ownership rates are declining in this community, and that's a different maker for all communities. So you see that decline. We should be growing home ownership rates, but we're declining right now.
The Spokane Home Builders Association was just one of many major businesses and associations represented. Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck was the keynote speaker and part of the panel discussion.
Even if we've owned our own home forever, the severe housing shortage means people aren't going to be able to afford homes, to buy, to get into homes, to be able to rent. It causes all sorts of problems. Home ownership, having shelter, is fundamental to a person's economic well-being.
Mayor Lisa Brown announced new legislation earlier this week aimed at increasing incentives and decreasing development costs of affordable housing. However, the panel talked also about solutions that involve more than just government for all levels of housing.
The housing problem can't just be solved from the bottom up. You can't just provide more government funds to subsidize housing. We have to build that housing ladder up.
Both Heck and White say it's important to continue the conversation about affordable housing and strive for innovative solutions.
Engage the broader community in this conversation so that they fully understand all the problems that are being caused by this severe housing shortage. That will help the people who run for office, the people who hold elective office, I think encounter less resistance to changing the things we need to change to make sure that people can have access to a decent home.
Greater Spokane Incorporated plans to continue the conversation with their State of the County event on September 11th. At the Convention Center, Caitlin Galloway, KREM 2 News.
Well, quite a few layers with this project that's beginning today, centered around West Francis Avenue and Assembly Street right here outside of Dwight Merkel. You can see signage in place as well, but the project runs today through at least August 15th. The city says they're installing a new water transmission main from the low water pressure system to the Northwest Terrence water pressure system. Temporary traffic signals are located at all 4 directions at the intersection of Francis Ave and Assembly Street, so expect rerouting and slowing traffic flows. Northbound Assembly Street will be closed between Rowan and Francis. Drivers will detour at Rowan Avenue, and access to Dwight Merkle Complex will be available at Rowan. Southbound Assembly will be closed between Francis and Rowan. There, drivers will detour at Driscoll Boulevard, and access to Merkle will still be available at Rowan. As for the water system project, the city says this is the first phase of a larger initiative to enhance water, sewer, stormwater, and traffic infrastructure in the area. After this next phase, the next project moves on to Rifle Club Road. So if you drive in this area, please plan on slowdowns and give space to crews. Again, expected to be out here for at least a month, so you're going to be running into those detours at some point. But for now, reporting here in Northwest Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Before we wrap up this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review, we have one more story you might have missed this past week.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get out there, and I'm just itching to get back on the court and just compete. I'm just excited to compete again.
The last 2 years have been long for Zags Venters. From missing the 2023 season with a torn ACL right before the season to a torn Achilles last summer, it has been a long road back.
It's just trusting the process, trusting the work, trusting the rehab, make sure I'm sleeping right, nutrition's good, trainers have been really good with me, so I guess just trusting the process, trying to stay positive.
Despite being out for 2 years, Venters overcame early doubts and has attacked his rehab to ensure he finally plays a full season as a Zag.
Right when I tore it, there was a little bit of doubt, there were some dark days, but I got out of those quickly, and I just got right back on the grind. I obviously just came off the ACL, so I kind of knew what I had to do, and but I'm feeling ready, and there was no doubt about me coming back to GU. Who wouldn't want to be at GU,
Venters has been cleared to practice in 2-on-2 and 3-on-3 controlled situations and hopes to be fully cleared for live practice with all of his teammates by the end of July.
They're just trying to ease me into it. I haven't played in 2 years, and it's June, so there's no reason to rush it. So they're just trying to get comfortable. We've had multiple 7 a.m. practices, and they've been some of the loudest practices I've been a part of. From what I've seen, we have a really good group.
One thing is clear, Venters' excitement to play in front of the Kennel Club again cannot be contained.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Just the energy is so electric in there, and I'm just so excited to be out there.
Obviously we lost some big pieces, but I think we have 7 new people on our team, so I'm really excited to meet them all, work out with them, train with them, and then hopefully we get integrated for the next season.
Last season, Allie Turner burst onto the scene, leading all freshmen in the nation by shooting 45.7% from beyond the arc and burying 105 threes. But heading into this season, Turner has a new focus.
I really wanted to work on being more aggressive towards the basket, I guess, and also my defense. And so I've done that with my coaches, I've done that at home, and still getting better at it. Lots of pickup with the team and just playing on my own. So those are the 2 main things.
After losing 5 seniors, including unquestioned leader Yvonne Ejim, Turner hopes to become a more vocal leader for this year's new look team.
It's different because, again, we had so many older people and they were such good leaders, so I think we had really good people to learn from. So I would say Bonnie was very loud on the court, off the court. I think that I'm more of a lead by example kind of person, but Lisa has been telling me you need to use your voice a little more, so I'm working on that.
With a bunch of new talent on this year's roster and a finally healthy Lauren Whitaker, Turner is ready to get the new season started and begin practice with her teammates.
I'm so excited. It's so nice to be back. It's really nice meeting new people, and I can tell it's going to be a great environment this year, so I'm very excited.
Thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Be sure to keep it here for more news and weather updates throughout the weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching.